Your wife doesn't believe a word you say anymore. And honestly, she shouldn't, because words without actions are just noise. If you want her to trust you again, you need to understand why your words stopped working and what actually will. Let's fix this right now. Hey, I'm Noah Allen. I work with high-performing husbands who are watching their marriages fall apart. Even though they're doing everything they think is right, you're apologizing, you've promised, you've changed, you've told her that you love her 1,000 times, and still nothing. She's cold, distant, done listening. And here's the truth. She's not ignoring you because she's cruel. She's ignoring you because words, your words, have lost their power. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why that happened, how to rebuild trust the right way. So let's start with the hard truth. Your wife stopped trusting your words because your words stopped meaning anything. There's something I always tell clients. There's two powers that both the masculine and feminine have. The main power for the masculine is his word. Every time I say that, men always think like, oh yeah, I keep saying I'm changing. I keep telling her all of my changes and all of this. No, it's not that. Your word is only as good as your actions. Men know this. Women know this. Everybody knows this. Okay. So every time you said, I'll change, and then didn't, her trust bank went down. Every time you promised to be more present, more engaged, more connected, and then went right back to your old patterns, that wasn't just a broken promise. That was proof you weren't serious. Think about it like this. If your business partner told you every week, I'm going to handle that project, but never did, would you believe them? Of course not. You'd stop listening and start watching what they actually do, and probably get a new business partner. Let me give you an example. Imagine a guy, we'll just call him Marcus. Marcus runs a successful company. He's sharp, driven, he closes deals, but at home, he's distracted. Always on his phone, always handling something. His wife, Emily, tries to talk to him about it. She says, Marcus, I need you here with me, with the kids, not just in the room, but actually present. Marcus hears her. He feels bad. So he says, you know what, you're right. I'm sorry. I'll do better, I promise. For 2 days, he does. He puts the phone down. He plays with the kids. He asks Emily about her day. She softens. She smiles again. But by day 3, he's back on his phone at dinner. He's just checking one email. He's just putting out a fire. And Emily, she doesn't say anything this time. She watches. And the next time Marcus says, I'll be better, she doesn't respond. She doesn't fight. She doesn't even look disappointed anymore because she's learned something. His words don't mean anything. They mean jack nada. They're just noise. And here's the brutal part. Marcus doesn't even realize what's happening. He thinks, I apologize, I promise. What more does she want? But Emily's not waiting for words. She's waiting for proof. And when it doesn't come, she stops waiting altogether. Now think of it this way. Imagine your marriage has a jar. Every time you make a promise, I'll change, I'll do better, I'll be more present, the list goes on. You drop a marble in the jar. Every time you keep that promise, the marble stays. But every time you break it, the marble cracks. Marcus has been dropping marbles in that jar for years, and every single one of them is cracked. How heavy do you think that jar feels to Emily? How much do you think she trusts the next marble he drops in? That's what happens when your actions don't match your words. You don't just lose her trust, you lose her willingness to believe you're even capable of change. Your wife is doing the same thing. She's not listening to what you say anymore. She's watching what you do. And if your actions don't match your words, you're just making noise. Here's what most men don't understand. Trust isn't rebuilt with words. It's rebuilt with consistency and visible action. Because here's the thing. Your wife's nervous system doesn't care about your intentions. It cares about safety, and safety comes from predictability. Every time you'll say you'll do something and then don't, her body registers that as a threat. Not a physical threat, but an emotional one. It tells her, I can't rely on him. I'm not safe here. And once her nervous system shuts down, trust, no amount of talking is going to bring it back. You have to show her over and over again that you're different now. Not through grand gestures or speeches. A lot of guys just like to talk, honestly. But through small, consistent actions that prove you're someone she can count on. Think of it like this. Imagine you're driving on a bridge. The first time you cross it, you don't think twice. You trust it. But one day, as you're driving across, you hear a crack. The bridge shakes. You make it to the other side, but your heart is pounding. The next time you need to cross that bridge, you're nervous. You slow down. You grip the wheel tighter, but you cross it anyways. And then it happens again. Another crack, another shake. And this time, you don't care what the engineers say. You don't care if they promise, we checked it, it's fine, you're safe. Your body doesn't believe them. Your nervous system has learned something. The bridge isn't safe. And no amount of words is going to convince you otherwise. You need proof. You need to see them rebuild it. You need to watch them reinforce the structure. You need to cross it 10 times without a single shake before your body stops bracing for impact. That's what's happening with your wife. Every broken promise, every time you said you'd change and didn't, that was a crack in the bridge. And her nervous system learned the same thing yours did. This isn't safe. I can't rely on this. So now, when you say, I promise I'm different this time, her body doesn't believe you. It doesn't matter how sincere you sound. It doesn't matter how much you meant it. Her nervous system is waiting for proof. And until you show her consistently, repeatedly, without fail, that the bridge is solid again, she's going to keep bracing for impact. That's what rebuilds trust. Not words, action, consistency, proof. Her nervous system doesn't care what you say. It cares what you do. And when your actions finally match your words, that's when everything changes. And look, if you're sitting here thinking, okay, I get it, but what specific actions do I take? Where do I even start? That's exactly what I help men with. I've worked with hundreds of husbands who are in your exact spot. Wife shut down, trust gone, marriage hanging on by a thread, and we turn it around. If you want to know exactly the steps to take to rebuild her trust and reconnect with your wife, even if she's emotionally checked out, book a free call with me. The link is in the description. Let's map out your next move. Okay, so here's the final piece most men miss. When your wife doesn't trust your words, your instinct is to explain yourself, to defend, to convince her you're serious this time, but that just makes it worse. Because every time you try to talk your way back into her trust, you're proving you still don't get it. You're still relying on words. She's already told you through her silence, through her distance, through her coldness, that words don't work anymore. So what do you do instead? You lead. You stop talking about what we're going to do, and you just do it. You stop defending your intentions, and you start showing up consistently, without excuses, without needing credit. Let me give you an analogy. Imagine you're working with a new contractor on a critical project. The first deadline comes, they miss it. You ask what happened, they explained, supply chain issues, vendor delays, unexpected challenges. You give them another chance. The second deadline comes, they miss it again. More excuses, more explanations. We're working on it, we're committed. We just need a little more time. At this point, you're done listening to their reasons. You don't care why they're late. You care whether they're going to deliver or not. Now imagine they call you for a third time and say, I know we've missed the last 2 deadlines, but I promise this time we're serious. We're going to get it done. Are you convinced? No, because you've heard it before. Their words mean nothing. You're not looking for another promise. You're looking for results. Now imagine a different scenario. The contractor misses the first deadline, but instead of calling you with excuses, they just get to work. They don't explain, they don't defend. They show up the next day with progress, real, visible progress. And the day after that, and the day after that, no phone calls, no explanations, just steady, consistent work. 1 week later, the project is done. No fanfare, no, see, I told you we get it done. They just delivered. That's when you trust them again. Not because they convinced you with words, but because they prove it with action. Your wife is in the same position. She's hired you to be her partner, to be her spouse, and you've missed the deadline over and over again. Every time that you promised you changed and didn't, that was a missed deadline. And now, when you try to explain yourself, when you try to convince her you're serious this time, you sound exactly like the contractor making excuses. She's not listening anymore. She doesn't want another promise. She wants results. So stop explaining, stop defending, and just deliver. Show up every day. Do what you said you do, consistently, without excuses, without needing her to validate you first. That's leadership, and that's what rebuilds trust. So here's what I want you to understand. Defending yourself is not leadership. Explaining yourself isn't leadership. Leadership is showing up, doing what needs to be done without needing credit, without needing validation, without needing her to believe you first. You just lead. And over time, she'll start to follow. Not because you convinced her, but because you proved it. So here's what I want you to take away from this. If your wife doesn't trust your words anymore, stop trying to convince her with more words. Start proving it with action. Show up. Be consistent. Lead without needing credit or validation. And if you're ready to stop guessing and start rebuilding trust the right way, book a call with me. I'll walk you through the exact steps to turn this around. Even if she's emotionally shut down, even if she said that she's done, there's a path forward, and I'll show you what it looks like. The link's in the description. Let's get to work.